Okay, welcome back from that break. As Dion said, we're going to bring things a little closer to the ground level here. I'm not in our portfolio team. I sort of set the strategy, and then people like John Krajewski are the ones that really take that and make it real. But I'll try to do my best with respect to John and his team, and give you some insights around where we're going with our HMI SCADA business. And while these videos are largely pretty aspirational, remember that the data that's created on the plant floor, in the remote plants, in the different types of assets that we are managing with HMI SCADA, that data source is absolutely critical to our broader strategy. Okay. Bear with me for a second. Here we go. So I'll try to mix a little bit between what our vision is for HMI SCADA and some of the things that we've either just recently done that you might not have heard about, or that we are just about to launch. So there'll be a mixture of both a strategic view and a reality of what we're doing on the ground. We've been pretty busy, really, over the last year. We did a very major release in Operations Control 2023 R2 right at the beginning of the year, and many other things that have happened through the year and through the balance of the year to come. We talked about a lot of the challenges that everybody faces, so I'm not going to go through this in great detail. Just to say that these challenges are kind of defined in these three major groups between people, technology, and process. And really the headline that I'm hearing is, yeah, okay, we got a lot of issues, but the biggest element is the pace of change and how that pace is increasing. I was at a session a couple weeks ago, and we had the CEO of a company called ServiceNow. I think a lot of you might even use them as your IT help desk kind of software. They do a lot more than that in terms of cloud-based workflows and different things like that now. But the CEO's name is Nick Tzitzon, and he sort of made light of the pace of change in that, oh yeah, that happens on Tuesdays around here. So that speaks to transformation and how prevalent it is in all of our organizations today. So I'm going to try to divide things up here into these different groups, from extending use cases, expanding access, expanding models, improving lifecycle management, and then an alignment of commercial models. I'll divide this discussion up into these different sections. So we'll start with extending the use cases of HMI SCADA. The things that you've been doing for years and years, where are we pushing those limits and coming up with net new? As Dion indicated and others, InTouch from Wonderware was launched way back in 1987. And over the years, you can see this long list of innovations that we've managed to continue to come out with, right up to Operations Control, which is really designed to extend off of just the plant floor and into some of the other things that affect operations on a day-to-day basis. That we launched 2 years ago, and it's doing extremely well in the marketplace, so we're thrilled about how that's caught on. And then today, we're talking a lot about that next frontier as we push that data up to our industrial intelligence platform called Connect. Now, it's important to note as well that if you are a ops control user, or you're considering moving in that ops control direction, that Connect, or at least a Connect starter pack, will now be available. In about another 8 weeks, it'll be available as part of ops control. So we're adding increasing value and an increasing number of use cases through Connect, just like that one that you saw from Accioni that I illustrated before. John Krajewski introduced this concept of a day in the life, again, when he launched Ops Control a couple years ago. And you can see where our traditional HMI scope was, that small box in the upper right-hand corner. This day in the life that we speak about in the context of Ops Control encompasses all of these different elements now, right from shift handovers, looking at production planning, a number of different collaboration things. Here's on-demand assistance if you had a number of different assets and you had a subject matter expert sitting in one location remotely that's going to help all of your operators in the different plants with a particular problem. Some analysis tools, some ongoing training capabilities, then on to the shift handover for the next shift coming up the next day. Ops Control really enables all of these different functions, and like I said, we're adding Connect to this group, so we continue to add to it. In case you're not aware, that operations control stems right from Edge, and the Edge edition can either be based on Aviva Edge or it can be based on InTouch. We've done a lot of things with InTouch to continue to refresh it and make it the most simple to use and flexible sort of tool at that bottom end of the market. Then as we move up a layer and increase the sort of the view of the people that use it, we get to the supervisory edition, which is either based on plant SCADA or it can be based on system platform. And some of the different tools that they use, all the way up to an enterprise edition, which is really that unified operations center. That's really what it's based upon. But the core sort of structure, the core premise around Ops Control is that it no longer is measured in terms of its costs based on servers, clients, tags. None of that. There's a base price, there's a number of users, there's a price per named user, and that's it. If you want to put in more servers, you want to add more tags, you want to add more clients, it's got complete architectural flexibility. So it's a very, very different commercial model. And as I said earlier, one which is taking off in the marketplace. It's been received very, very well. We spoke about Connect in the earlier session, and I just wanted to highlight some of the different use cases that we're building into Connect from an HMI SCADA perspective. We talked specifically about the advanced analytics use case that's designed to drive predictive throughput improvements, predictive energy consumption improvements, predictive quality improvements, predictive asset life. Those are the main analytics use cases that we're driving through Connect. But some of the other ones, an ability to put together self-serve visualization capabilities. Connect not only provides data services, but also visualization services that can be either pre-engineered or self-service. So you can imagine you can actually build your own mobile application with some of those capabilities that are on the Connect platform. Configuration management, we still have a fair bit of work to do here with respect to HMI SCADA, but you can imagine a future where we're actually using Connect to to back up and restore configuration information. Right now, we use it for authentication and also the distribution of some of the asset hierarchy information that we pull out of System Platform. But configuration management will continue to be a very critical element within Connect that expands over time. The Industrial AI Assistant, obviously a lot of that data that you saw, a lot of that time series data that you saw, that comes from HMI SCADA, and so that's a very pertinent use case for us. And then lastly, data sharing, not just within your enterprise, but also upstream in your supply chain with certain partners. You want to feed certain data streams to them, or distribution channel partners that you might have within your organization that would benefit from seeing that kind of data as well. And it doesn't all have to be provided by Aviva. As I said before, some of our partners like Databricks or leveraging Microsoft Fabric to consolidate some of these industrial data streams with the existing data lake that you might have within your organization. That's all part of the capabilities of Connect as well. Okay, so that was expanding our use cases. Now expanding our access. That in our workforces are increasingly remote users or mobile users, and certainly this whole concept of a unified experience that I briefly touched on earlier is something that we're really keeping an eye on. We don't want to just inundate your operators with more and more different applications. We're trying to make that a more seamless experience, and really to illustrate that. You've seen this slide before, but one of the things that we're really spending a lot of time on, we're well known for world-class visualization capabilities. Now what we're doing is making sure that it's the same technology, regardless of whether you're on the plant floor, or whether you're a mobile user, or whether you're a cloud user. The same visualization capabilities and technologies really across our whole portfolio. That's where we're going from now, or going to. The Connect visualization services, that's part of the Connect platform, actually came from OMI, and we've had to go back and forth a couple of times just to make sure that tech stack is consistent. But we really want to get to a point where you build an object wherever you want to build it, and you can share that object across all aspects, all the different hardware platforms that you're trying to use to visualize that information. So that's a big part of what our investment in HMI SCADA is around. So and we're pretty proud of the fact that the HMI SCADA part of the portfolio made that contribution to the Connect platform and the future direction of Aviva in providing that visualization tech stack. In terms of configuration data, similarly, I just touched on configuration management and how it's an area that we're going to spend a fair bit of time in enhancing what we do on the platform. But you can see here asset hierarchy, asset data. It's scattered all across the different parts of your automation sort of landscape, and it's really up to us to try to combine that through Connect, so that we're not having to replicate that information multiple times, potentially creating errors along the way. We want a sort of a ubiquitous data model and asset hierarchy that we can leverage across all of these different aspects of the portfolio. I'm just going to bang through this really quickly, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands when I'm talking about industrial data, what's so special about it. Like a lot of times IT people just data that's coming from the plant floor. What's the big deal? Well, obviously that data and our friends that are specialized in alarm management, know how we name some of these tags. It's pretty hard for anybody else to understand if you didn't actually build it in the first place. We have thousands and thousands of these data streams. But once we start adding asset context, it starts to have meaning to the rest of the organization. And that's a big part of breaking down those silos. And then when we take that and add to it analytics and different events, then it becomes even richer. And with those events come notifications. I'm sharing that data across other parts of my organization. As I showed you earlier, I'm adding 1D, 2D, 3D information in the design part of the overall life cycle, and then lastly, providing you with some spatial context. This is all context that is part of that weird and wonderful industrial data thing that a lot of us traditionally OT people hold near and dear to our heart. But where we really want to go, and the reason why I'm talking about asset hierarchies and data models and all these different things, they're an essential part of creating this overall unified experience. Now, this isn't available today, but this is where we see ops control going, where, from one place, we can encapsulate a lot of those other applications within our visualization technologies and give your operator in the factory or on the plant floor a unified experience. So here's an example of that where, just let me get that back. Okay, where I'll start my day and come into my home page. I've got those tiles that I showed you earlier. I'm clicking on the original OMI piece. I've now clicked on some of the predictive analytics that I have access to. I want to look at alarms. Here's all my alarms within my asset hierarchy. I have tasks, responsibilities that I have to perform in a given day. I've got issues that I'm trying to manage to create a bit of a knowledge base of problems, so the person that comes behind me has an easier job of things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can see all of this information encapsulated in a single application. That's what we're striving for, so we don't have a BAT utility belt of applications that we have to drag around across the plant floor. Instead, we're unifying it in one uniform experience. Of course, in order to facilitate that, I've got a number of different models that I have to try to consolidate, and we've talked a little bit about these things in the past or in the last few minutes. But here's an example of a digital twin that has multiple digital threads through it. This is my asset thread where I have all of that asset information. I've also got a product thread that I may make part of my digital twin, which, if I'm making widgets, how is that widget defined? How much energy does it take? What are the raw materials? What are my MES steps, my production execution that I have to perform? That's my product thread. And then I might also have a sustainability or regulatory thread where I can add that information. Where do I stand with respect to compliance? I had a conversation while we were on the break around compliance. Well, that's that thread, and it all comes together in that single digital twin. So that's where we're expanding models to make sure that it becomes richer and richer and richer as we go forward. And this is an example of, right from the device in the field, as we go up the hierarchy, that model becomes increasingly complex, but we have to manage all that. And then there is a session later on unified namespace. I think this is going to be critical for us in industry as we move forward, breaking down sort of the traditional way we did that, where we had to try to manage different namespaces, whether we were on the plant floor or whether we were in the IT space. Well, why not break that down altogether and use more of a unified namespace model? Again, a direction that we're heading with our HMI SCADA business to help you manage data as we move up the stack and as we break down those silos. And here's just an example of an MQTT Spark Plug B means of facilitating that unified namespace. So let's say building an MQTT broker directly into Connect so that we can self-discover all of the different elements, whether it's coming from the plant floor or coming from the IT space. We can discover those things and then leverage them in a unified model across our whole enterprise. That's the direction that we really are seeking to go. In terms of lifecycle management and the tool that we use to help facilitate lifecycle management in HMI SCADA within AVEVA is our Design Studio. And you might be familiar with some of the design standards and common resource models that we have within Design Studio or Development Studio. But you can see some of the other areas where we seek to continue to enhance. We're partway along this journey, but you see it in Development Studio, a lot of the build and if you're familiar with Integration Studio, how you then can test in the cloud, so you don't have to have some of those on-prem test facilities and investment that's associated with it. But the integration between Development Studio and Integration Studio, and then we talked about configuration management earlier, but seeking to move a lot of that to Connect itself, so we can back it up and restore it, and then from there deploy it into production and ultimately use it. So that's our complete life cycle, and still working on different steps within Dev Studio. I'd say beyond just our portfolio, there's a number of other experiences, I guess, that add to the value of the technology that we move into the market. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them here, so that you're aware of some of these other activities that we have going on. We're looking at this from a sort of a customer's perspective, right from, how do I buy technology? Start with awareness, maybe going to a website, see some customer training just to understand it a little bit better. Through the evaluation stage, maybe see a demonstration from an AVEVA Select partner. Maybe even do that with an AVEVA pre-sales resource. There's a number of ways to get there from here, or maybe even do it online through an online demo. We're spending a lot of time around our technical community. One might say that maybe we lost our way a little bit and we stopped investing in it. Well, we've started again, and I'll give you a quick view of where we're at with a new platform that we call Heroes HQ, that's designed for our SIs and our end users who want to find technical content, don't want to have to go through a paywall to get to it. So we've done some things in that area. I've talked about portfolio, so I'm not going to go into that dev side of things. And then maybe speak a little bit to some of the commercial things that we've changed. So first of all, this is Heroes HQ. A quick show of hands, people in the room, who has joined Heroes HQ? Show. Okay, we've got a few back here, a few over here. We've tried. Everybody struggles with this, I suppose, but sometimes our website, it's hard to find exactly what you're looking for. HMI SCADA within AVEVA has developed this platform to put everything that you want in one place. right from asking questions and looking at different forums. You can query the forum for a problem that you might be having, through to some product information. You don't have to go searching on the web. It's all linked right to there, right to one button. We've done a lot of work in training, a lot of micro-learning. We're just putting onto this platform this week 50 new InTouch micro-learning, like 4-minute videos that walk you through different aspects of developing an InTouch application. All available, free of charge. Go and learn it anytime you like, on the weekends, in the evenings, slow day. It's all available. And this is the direction that we're going across the board. So we started with InTouch because of something that I'll get to here in just a second. But we're now transitioning, once those 50 are on our platform, then we start with OMI and System Platform, and we'll carry on our way through the HMI SCADA portfolio. So we've put a lot of effort into this. If you haven't joined, join and take a look at all of the content that's there. And who knows, maybe next month you'll be the hero of the month and be recognized with a little video piece of your own. Seems to be working. It's only been available for the last 3 months. Almost 2,000 members that have been added, and look at the views and downloads that we've already got going on. Really quite indicative that there's a demand. So we're trying to satisfy that and get technical information into the SI's hands in a much easier way. And that takes us to an alignment of commercial models. Now, we are launching a new offer. This is designed really to show you we have multiple products, and depending on where a given end user is at with the maturity of their organization, the maturity of how many plants do they have, how many lines do they have, this, that, and the other thing. A lot of customers over the years start with a simple, InTouch workstation or series of workstations, add to them to a certain point of time. We're moving them, as you saw, the day in the life towards ops control. So everything going left to right speaks to technical maturity and the journey and the different products in our portfolio to take you there. Going bottom to top, as operationally you have more needs, you want to do more with the data. We start with the edge, then we go up to supervisory. That's System Platform, that's design templates, that's design standards. When we start to get bigger and bigger and more mature, we need to manage those things more closely. InTouch doesn't have that capability, but that's what System Platform does. And again, there are versions of System Platform that take you to ops control. Then on the top level, we see the PI system and that real information management front that's moving towards PI data infrastructure, which provides that built-in connectivity to connect. And then lastly, what we talked about earlier, the Unified Operations Center. So really quickly, down here at the bottom, in the middle, is a new product that launches on June 11th, so 2 weeks from now, which is really an unlimited version of InTouch that's available in both perpetual and subscription license models. That includes a certain size of historian that makes sense. There's a couple flavors of it. There's a standard flavor and there's a professional flavor. But Dion indicated earlier sort of a reality in the marketplace. It's changing a lot, and so we're adapting to that change. Take a look at InTouch Unlimited. Take a look at the pricing levels. Much more competitive than perhaps in the past, and a model that hopefully doesn't constrain you to to this number of tags or whatever. Unlimited tags, unlimited clients. It's a far more flexible approach. Again, available at new pricing levels, much more competitive, and in both perpetual and subscription license models, especially for those industries that can only purchase in a perpetual way. All of them moving in the direction of Connect. I'm not going to go into that. And then one last final plug in the direction of Aviva World. It's pretty close to your homes this year. It's been a while since we did one in Europe, so we look forward to seeing everyone in Paris in October, and where you can see this in detail. We'll have all our portfolio people there, and you can get the real heavy download of information, not from me, but one of our smart people. So take advantage of that through our friends at Aviva Select Benelux to get on the train to Paris. And with that, back to you, Eric.